Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Russian ebook before it's gone. Today's topic is how to speak more of your target language, specificity, and can-do checklists. How much of your target language can you speak right now? If your answer is not much, there is a way to speak more, even if you're learning on your own. In this episode, you'll discover 1. How specific goals can get you speaking more, and 2. How you can apply this learning tactic with our learning program or any other resource. But first, listen up. Here are this month's new lessons and resources. First, the Going Sightseeing Conversation Cheat Sheet. What country or city would you like to visit? With this PDF cheat sheet, you'll be able to talk about where you want to go, and you'll master all the common words and phrases for sightseeing. Second, the Most Common Nouns PDF ebook. You'll master over 90 common nouns with this bonus PDF picture ebook. You can download and review on any device. Third, can you talk about hairstyles? Would you be able to get a haircut in your target language? If not, then this 1-minute lesson is just what you need. Fourth, phrases to use with your doctor. I have an appointment. I don't feel well. My throat hurts. You'll learn how to say these phrases and much more. Fifth, can you talk about books in your target language? Learn how to say novel, author, thriller, and much more with this quick vocab bonus. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. How to speak more of your target language, specificity and can-do checklists. Every learner wants to speak more in their target language, and yet speaking is almost always the weakest skill for most learners. So, how do you fix this? How do you speak more? Keep watching. These tips will apply to solo learners and those with a conversation partner. First, let's put language learning aside. Let's say you wanted to speak more about a certain topic in your native language. What would that depend on? The length of that conversation depends on how much you know about that topic, right? If you don't know much, that conversation won't last long. If you know a lot, you could go on for hours. It's the same with language learning. The more words and phrases you know around a certain topic, the more you can speak. It's a top-down approach. Pick a topic, for example, weather, and work your way down. Learn the relevant words, phrases, and questions for that topic. For example, what's the weather like? It's nice weather. It's sunny. It's windy. I like sunny weather. I don't like rain. The more lines you come up with, the more you'll be able to talk about the weather in your target language. The point is, if you want to speak more, you should start with a specific topic. Sounds obvious, right? So why don't most learners do this? Most learners don't do this because they're just passively following a learning resource without going after what they specifically want. It's much easier to follow a textbook than to stop, think about what you want to talk about, and go off in that direction. Of course, you should keep using your textbook or other existing resource. You can do both. Follow a resource and pursue specific topics. But here are a few reasons why this tactic is so powerful. First, specific goals always beat vague goals. For example, between setting goals like, I want to save money, and I want to save $50, you're more likely to succeed with the $50 goal. But because you have a specific number to look for and measure, you won't stop until that $0 becomes $10, then $20, and then $50. Same with language learning. Between, I want to learn more words, and I want to learn 20 words, you'll do much better with the specific goal. Second, you get to speak more sooner. You can go try the general approach of learning the 2,000 most common words, but that will take a long time and it won't get you speaking any faster. But if you pick a specific topic and get all the words and phrases for it, you'll be much better off. 3. So you know what to focus on. Again, knowing what to focus on helps you learn and progress faster. Otherwise, if you're just going through a textbook with no specific goal in mind, you'll spend months on learning a language and never see any real progress. So remember, the more specific you are with what you want, the more likely you'll get it, because you'll know exactly what you're looking for. This is why we tell you to set small, measurable, meaning specific, monthly goals. Now, what kind of topics should you pick? That depends on you and your hobbies and interests. You can also start with common topics, like talking about yourself, your family, the weather, or your weekend plans. But to make it easy for you, here's what you can do. 1. Download our free PDF conversation task list. Pick a topic to start with, for example, talking about your family. Then, take lessons inside our learning program based on that topic. You'll learn practical conversations that you can use in real life. And as a result, you'll be able to talk more about your family. 2. Take 5 or 10 minutes and write out other lines that you'd want to use, either in that conversation or questions that someone may ask you, and get them translated with the help of our Premium Plus teacher. 3. Come up with your own topics that are interesting to you. Then repeat step 2. Come up with all the phrases, questions, and answers that could come up in that conversation. Write them out and get them translated with your Premium Plus teacher. Or translate them with a translation software. You could try this, and it might not be perfect, but it could help you start and get you speaking a little bit more of your target language. The goal here is to be able to talk more about a specific topic, and as a result, speak more of your target language. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about what's your real reason for learning a language? If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! If you're learning a new language, there will be times when you'll struggle with the lesson, when you won't fully understand what you've learned, when you'll be in a rut, or when you just won't feel like you're making any progress. And that's totally normal. In this video, you'll learn what to do if you're not learning, and how to overcome language learning struggles. Let's begin. Number 1. Understand the mindset of a successful learner. Some learners are more successful than others. A key difference between successful learners and less successful learners is in the way they approach problems. Some learners rely completely on a learning program. If there's a grammar rule or word they don't understand, they get frustrated and blame the program. They don't look for solutions. Successful learners approach problems a little differently. If they encounter a problem, they look for a solution or ask for help instead of getting frustrated. You may feel frustrated at times, especially if you're a beginner, but how you choose to react will make all the difference. Number 2, set small, measurable, realistic goals with a deadline. Most learners fail because they set big, vague goals, like, I want to be fluent. When they realize they have no idea how to do that, they lose motivation and quit. The solution to this? Set small, measurable, realistic goals with a deadline. For example, finish 10 audio lessons by the end of this week. Learn 20 words by the end of this week. Speak 1 minute of conversation by the end of this month. Listen to lessons for just 5 minutes a day, every day this month. Now your goals are small and realistic enough to accomplish. They're specific and measurable, so you know when you reach them, and the deadline gives you a finish line. For example, either you learned all 20 words by Friday or you didn't. When you reach your goal, you gain a ton of confidence. This improves your chances of reaching your next goal because you've had experience reaching a goal and you understand the things you need to do to be successful. Number 3, read along with the lesson notes and lesson transcripts. Now, what if you're doing a lesson but you can't catch a word? Take advantage of the lesson notes and lesson transcripts and read along with the lesson. The lesson notes give you in-depth grammar and vocabulary explanations that are not available in the lesson. And the lesson notes give you the word-for-word transcript of everything said in the lesson. So if you want to pick up every word, read the transcript. Number 4, review, because repetition is the mother of all learning. If you're struggling with a particular word, grammar rule, or lesson, be sure to repeat and review it a few times. And then, come back a few days later and review it again. This same principle is used in our spaced repetition flashcards. The system quizzes you on words, then re-quizzes you in 3 days, then in 6 days, and so on. until the word gets embedded in your long-term memory. Some things you can do right now are download the lesson and lesson notes, save the words to your word bank, or even write down the words or grammar rules. Then come back to review them later. Number 5. Reach out to our teachers and ask questions. If you're a Premium Plus member, you can easily get in touch with your teacher and get all of your points of confusion cleared up. Or you can always leave a comment on our lessons, and our teachers will get back to you. Remember, you're not alone. If you're struggling with a lesson, you can always get in touch with us. Number 6. Take a break and go do something else. Another thing you can do is take a break and do something else that doesn't require much thinking. There's a reason our best ideas come while in the shower or while taking a walk. While you're on a break, your brain is more relaxed and starts making connections that you couldn't see when you were focused and stressed out. It's also why coming back to review things with a fresh mind can help you better understand the lessons you've taken. Number 7. Downgrade your learning routine. If you're studying for 30 minutes a day and find yourself overwhelmed, or if you suddenly find yourself busy, the best thing to do is to reduce your study routine to something easier and more manageable. If you've been learning 30 minutes a day, drop down to 10 or 15 minutes. Even 5 minutes is good enough because language learning success comes with consistency. Quitting and coming back every 3 months won't work. This brings us to our next point. Number 8. Remember, learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Think about it. You can't cram for 5 hours and expect to remember everything you've studied. So just like with a marathon, it's okay to go slow and at your own pace, even if you're learning for just 5 minutes a day. Similarly, if you're having trouble understanding a grammar point or a lesson, don't let it bring you down. Learning a language is a marathon, a long-term game. The little points of confusion you have now are just small obstacles, and you'll fully understand them with time. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! When learning a new language, we sometimes have a hard time with things like procrastination, discouragement, or failure. But don't panic. With a good strategy, you'll be able to overcome these difficulties. Are you ready to discover the 4 habits of successful learners? Number 1. Optimize your time. When learning a language, it's important to dedicate time to your studies regularly, even if sometimes it's difficult. You're busy with school, work, family, or friends, but you can spread out your learning throughout the day. Study whenever you have small gaps of time in your busy schedule. This can be when you're on the metro, on your lunch break, or while you're exercising. Our podcast learning format fits perfectly into your tight schedule. Number 2. Consistency with your chosen method. There are a lot of options when it comes to courses and learning materials. Switching from one method to another can confuse you and disrupt your progress. Focusing on one learning method will make a difference. Our method has been created and optimized by real teachers, so you can stick to it with confidence. Number 3. Use your language background. Many languages share some commonalities. You can find words that look or sound similar, or even share the same grammar structure. A little bit of language background will give you an edge while learning. Number 4. Study continuously. People are excited when they start learning a new language. The enthusiasm usually lasts until the first roadblock. This can lead to discouragement and procrastination. But don't burn yourself out. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to learn it all at once. Break things down into more digestible chunks. Learning step by step might feel slow, but it's an efficient way to learn a language. With patience, motivation, and good resources, you'll master the language. Remember, you can't learn a language overnight, but with motivation and these daily lessons, you'll be on the road to fluency. Give it a try now. Sign up for your account. Just click the link in the description.
Hi everyone, Lina's here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, a place where you'll get answers to your most common Russian questions. The question for today is, can you tell us about the Russian language and where it's spoken? Sure, I can. I'm glad people ask this question before they start learning Russian. It's good to have understanding of what you're learning before jumping straight into memorizing words and phrases. Russian is an East Slavic language with over 250 million native speakers around the world. Let me give you a brief introduction of the history of the Russian language. Russian is pretty old. It goes back to around 1st-2nd centuries BC and comes from a combination of dialects from the Indo-European language family. The first origins of Russian come from Russia's literary language, Old Slavonic. Around the same time, the 1st-2nd centuries BC, the first Slavic alphabet was created by two Greek missionaries and philologists, Cyril and his brother Methodius. Later that language was split into Russian, Ukrainian and Belarusian, which you can hear spoken today. Later, in the 17th, 18th centuries, Peter the Great played a big role in the formation of the modern-day Russian by combining its Slavic written language with Russian everyday spoken language. Russian is not only the official language of Russia, but also of many other post-Soviet countries, such as Belarus, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. It's also widely spoken in the Ukraine, Moldova, the Baltic states, and many other former Soviet Union countries. As you can see, learning Russian doesn't limit you to Russia only. It opens up new opportunities to speak to other people from many different countries. Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Please leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them. До встречи! See you soon! Hi everyone, Lena here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Russian questions. The question for today is, what's palatalization in Russian? And what's the difference between a soft sign and a hard sign? First off, what's palatalization? I know it sounds complicated, but most Russians know it simply as the softening of consonants. Palatalization is basically a way of pronouncing certain consonants when you move your tongue from the back of your teeth to the center of the roof of your mouth, the palate, and that move will soften your consonants. You can hear that softening in the English word new, for example. Let's do some examples so that you could understand the notion of consonant softening. In English, the hard pronunciation of the sound n is heard in the word nook. When you pronounce the word nook, the tip of your tongue is right behind your upper teeth. In the word new, the sound n is palatalized or softened, and that means that the tongue is lying flatly in the middle of the roof of your mouth. In Russian, palatalization or softness can be achieved by two means. First, you can palatalize your consonants by the vowels that follow them. In Russian, there are 10 vowels that come in hard and soft pairs. A, ya, I, O, yo, ye, U, you. So the soft vowels are ya, I, you, yo, ye, and the hard vowels are a, I, U, O, E. So, if a consonant is followed by one of the soft vowels, it's considered palatalized. Let's take, for example, the Russian name Katya. In this name, the sound K is hard and not palatalized because it's followed by the hard vowel R. However, T is soft and palatalized because it's followed by the counterpart of the sound A, ya, Katya. The second case, when you can hear a palatalized consonant, is when it's followed by a soft sign. A soft sign is a letter without a sound pronunciation. What this letter does is it softens or palatalizes the sound preceding it. Let's compare two words, mill, chalk, and mill, sandbar or shoal. Can you hear the softened l at the end of the mill? That's what the soft sign does. Now, if there's a soft sign, there also must be a hard sign, right? In Russian, a hard sign doesn't have its own pronunciation either. What hard sound does, it separates a consonant and a soft vowel in a word. For example, let's take the word отъели. They ate something. If we didn't have a hard sign between the sounds t and ye, we would end up with the word отели, which sounds different and means hotels. Well, how was it? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions to ask me? Leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. До встречи! See you soon! Hello everyone, Lena here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Russian questions. The question for this lesson is, how hard is it to learn Russian? The Foreign Service Institute, or FSI, created a scale to show how long it takes to get to professional level proficiency in speaking a foreign language for a native English speaker. Russian is a Category 3 language. That means it has significant differences from English. It takes a bit longer to learn than, say, Spanish or Italian, which have very similar writing systems to English. According to this scale, Russian takes approximately 44 weeks, or 1,100 hours of study, but this will of course vary from person to person. The hardest part about Russian is grammar. There are many factors you have to consider when making a sentence, such as gender, number, suffixes and prefixes. With nouns, we have to be mindful of how they decline depending on the 6 Russian cases. With verbs, you have to be mindful of the imperfective and perfective forms, which are verb aspects that indicate whether an action is ongoing or has already been completed. For example, the word dog is feminine, собака, and the word cat is masculine, кот. If you want to say, I love my dog and I love my cat, you'll have to use different endings for the nouns. Я люблю свою собаку, but я люблю своего кота, respectively. You can see that even the pronoun my, свой, will change for these sentences because of the animals' genders. But there are many things about learning Russian that are easier than you think. Here are a couple of other facts about Russian that you will like. First, there are not many exceptions or special cases, such as irregular verbs or strange spellings. Also, there's no strict word order in Russian. And even if you're not familiar with Russian grammar, you can put the words in the sentence in almost any order, and a native Russian speaker should be able to understand you. So Russian, just like any other language, has its own difficulties. But if you give it time and dedication, you should be well on your way to getting where you want to be. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. До встречи! See you soon! Hi everyone, Lena here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Russian questions. The question for this lesson is, what is verb conjugation and what to consider when conjugating a verb? Verb conjugation is a change in the form of the verb depending on the number and person. Just like in English, there are 3 grammatical persons in Russian. For singular, they are я, I, ты, you, он, она, оно. he, she, it. For plural, they are мы, we, вы, you, они, they. So, to conjugate a verb, you need to change their personal ending. For example, я читаю, I'm reading. Он читает, he reads. Дети читают, the children are reading. If we know how to conjugate the verb, we can avoid spelling mistakes, which are common in the unstressed personal endings of the verbs. For example, the verb читаете, you are reading. Which is the right vowel to put here? Ye or e? In rapid speech, ye and e in the unstressed position sound the same. But if you know the right conjugation of the verb читать, you wouldn't hesitate. Ye is the right vowel to put here. Читаете. In Russian, there are two conjugations. The vowel ye is mostly used in the endings of the first conjugation verbs. The vowel e is mostly used in the endings of the second conjugation verbs. Let's explore the typical endings of the first conjugation verbs. First person singular, у, you. Second person singular, ешь, ешь. Third person singular, ед, ет. First person plural, ем, ем. Second person plural, ете, ете. Third person plural, ут, ют. Now let's take a look at the typical endings of the second conjugation verbs. First person singular, у, you. Second person singular, иш. Third person singular, it. First person plural, им. Second person plural, ите. Third person plural, at, ят. Let's conjugate the verb читать, meaning to read, which is a first conjugation verb in Russian. Я читаю, I'm reading. Ты читаешь, you are reading. Он читает, he is reading. Мы читаем, we are reading. Вы читаете, you are reading. Они читают, they are reading. So the pattern here is to remove the ending т from the infinitive form of the verb you'll find in a dictionary and add the appropriate ending of the first conjugation. The infinitives of the first conjugation verbs usually end in ать, ять, оть, еть, уть, and so on. Let's move to the second conjugation verbs and conjugate the verb учить, which means to teach, to learn, or to study. Я учу, I teach. Ты учишь, you teach. Он учит, he teaches. Мы учим, we teach. Вы учите, you teach. Они учат, they teach. The pattern here is once again to remove the ending it from the infinitive form of the verb and add the appropriate ending of the second conjugation to the remaining base uch. Most verbs ending in it are the second conjugation verbs. There are a few exceptions, such as the verbs брить, to shave, and слышать, to hear. Now you can easily conjugate the verbs by looking up their infinitive forms in the dictionary and making changes to the endings. The verbs in different aspects and moods conjugate in the same way. For example, if you come across the verb прочитаете, you shouldn't be confused by the prefix про in front of the verb читаете. You should just look up the infinitive form of the verb прочитать and conjugate it in the same way you would conjugate the verb читать. The trick's done. Conjugating verbs may seem difficult, but starting practicing with the basic verbs will certainly make you proficient and confident in a short time. Pretty interesting, right? If you have more questions, leave them in the comments below. До встречи! See you soon! Hi everyone, Lina here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Russian questions. The question for today is, how to tell the gender of a noun? In Russian, the gender of nouns is determined by the endings, suffixes, and some other indicators. However, you can accurately tell the gender of a noun only if it's in a singular number of the nominative case. Let me try to explain to you how it all works. Masculine nouns, names included, usually have at their end either a consonant, including y, or a soft sign, which, as you remember, doesn't have a sound of its own. For example, kruг – circle, гость – guest, чай – tea, Ivan – that's a Russian male name. It's important to mention that diminutive or short Russian male names usually end in a vowel, in either a or ya. For example, the diminutive of the name Anton is Antosha. The diminutive of Dmitry is Dima. The diminutive of Mikhail is Misha. And diminutive of Ivan is Vanya. Feminine nouns, names included, usually end with either a vowel or a soft sign. For example, книга – book, земля – land, мать – mother, Елена – that's a Russian female name. And feminine nouns usually have the suffix ost. Радость – happiness, верность – loyalty, честность – honesty. Finally, neuter nouns have vowels o, ye, and yo as their endings. For example, окно – window, зелье – potion, ружье – rifle. Certain suffixes can also serve as gender indicators. For example, the typical masculine suffixes are тель, онок, and ёнок. Строитель – builder, оттенок – tint, котенок – kitten. And now we'll talk a bit about the cases when adjectives act as nouns. The examples of these are караульный – guard, столовая – dining room, сладкое – sweets. Again, similarly to the regular nouns, such words have typical endings. The masculine ending is «ый», with the consonant at the end, караульный. The feminine ending is «ая», with the vowel at the end, столовая. The neuter ending is «оя», with the vowel «е» at the end, сладкое. You may find an etymological dictionary to be a very useful tool in mastering Russian genders. This kind of a dictionary explains the meaning and the origin of the words and has all the nouns tagged with their respective genders. Pretty interesting, right? If you have more questions, please leave a comment below. До встречи! See you soon!
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, we'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, what kind of movies do you like? After watching this video, you'll be able to talk about movies and ask other people about their favorite kinds of movies. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your Talking About Movies and TV PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Какие фильмы вам нравятся?
Я люблю ужасы.
Once more with the English translation.
Какие фильмы вам нравятся?
What kind of movies do you like?
Я люблю ужасы.
I like horror. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, what kind of movies do you like? That's
Какие фильмы вам нравятся?
listen to it again.
Какие фильмы вам нравятся? Какие фильмы вам нравятся?
This Russian sentence literally translates as, what movies do you like? But it means, what kind of movies do you like? Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is
Я люблю.
type of movie. I like type of movie. For example, I like horror.
Я люблю ужасы. Я люблю ужасы.
Here are a few more kinds of movies you can use with the same pattern to talk about movies. Horror,
Ужасы. Ужасы.
comedy,
Комедия. Комедия.
fantasy,
Фэнтези. Фэнтези.
romance,
Романтика. Романтика.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Какие фильмы вам нравятся?
Я люблю комедии.
Какие фильмы вам нравятся?
Я люблю фэнтези.
Какие фильмы вам нравятся?
Я люблю романтику.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, what kind of movies do you like?
Какие фильмы вам нравятся?
Imagine you like comedies. Do you remember how to say comedy?
Комедия. Комедия.
Say, I like comedies.
Я люблю комедии.
Now answer the question saying that you like comedies.
Какие фильмы вам нравятся?
Я люблю комедии.
Now imagine that you like fantasy movies. Do you remember how to say fantasy?
Фэнтези. Фэнтези.
Say, I like fantasy.
Я люблю фэнтези.
Now, answer the question saying you like fantasy movies.
Какие фильмы вам нравятся?
Я люблю фэнтези.
Now imagine you like romantic movies. Do you remember how to say romantic?
Романтика. Романтика.
Say, I like romance.
Я люблю романтику.
Now answer the question saying you like romantic movies.
Какие фильмы вам нравятся?
Я люблю романтику.
In this lesson, you learned new vocabulary and phrases you can use in your everyday life to talk about movies. You are now able to talk about types of movies like a native speaker. Start by practicing in the comments below. Tell us what your favorite kind of movie is. Lastly, don't forget to click the link in the description and download your PDF cheat sheets. You'll get useful phrases you need for everyday life for free. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Катя Коваленко. Приятно познакомиться. Я из России.
In the next minute, you'll be challenged to introduce yourself, including where you're from. First, let's look at some examples.
Меня зовут Сергей Свалов. Приятно познакомиться.
Привет. Меня зовут Марк.
Здравствуйте. Меня зовут Карен Ли.
Let's practice.
Вы впервые встречаетесь с Катей. Представьтесь и ответьте на вопрос.
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Катя Коваленко. Приятно познакомиться.
Now share where you're from. Here are some examples.
Я из Нью-Йорка.
Я из Норильска. А вы?
Я из Лондона. А ты?
Are you ready?
Вы откуда?
How did you do? You can consider this practice exercise successful if you were able to answer in the given time, completed a pattern with your name and hometown, and used the sentence pattern featured in this example.
Меня зовут Сергей Свалов. Приятно познакомиться. Я из Норильска. А вы?
Try this practice exercise again if you want to improve your fluency or skill in any of these areas.
Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Здравствуйте. Извините, можно с вами познакомиться?
Да, конечно. Меня зовут Вероника. А как вас зовут?
Бенджамин. Можно просто Бен.
Очень приятно, Бен.
Мне тоже очень приятно.
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
Здравствуйте.
Hello.
Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте.
And the next word is
С.
with.
С. С.
And the next word is
Познакомиться.
to meet, to get acquainted, to get to know.
Познакомиться. Познакомиться.
And the next word?
Конечно.
Of course, certainly.
Конечно. Конечно.
And the next word?
Меня зовут.
My name is.
Меня зовут. Меня зовут.
And the next word?
Как?
How.
Как. Как.
And the next word?
Просто.
Simply. Just.
Просто. Просто.
And the next word is?
Очень.
Very. Very much. Really.
Очень. Очень.
And the next word?
Приятно.
Nice. Pleasant.
Приятно. Приятно.
The next word is?
Тоже.
Too. Also.
Тоже. Тоже.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Здравствуйте. Извините, можно с вами познакомиться?
Да, конечно. Меня зовут Вероника. А как вас зовут?
Бенджамин. Можно просто Бен.
Очень приятно, Бен.
Мне тоже очень приятно.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson. Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Ника, вы русская?
Нет, я украинка, но живу в России. А вы откуда? Вы американец?
Да, я из Америки.
А из какого штата?
Я родился в Орегоне, но живу в Нью-Йорке.
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
Русская.
Russian.
Русская. Русская.
And the next one?
Украинка.
Ukrainian.
Украинка. Украинка.
Okay, and the next word?
Жить.
To live.
Жить. Жить.
And the next word?
В.
In.
В. В.
Okay, and the next word?
Откуда?
From where? Where from?
Откуда? Откуда?
Okay, and the next one?
Из.
From.
Из. Из.
And next?
Какой?
What? What kind? Which?
Какой? Какой?
And next?
Штат.
State.
Штат. Штат.
And the next word?
Но.
But.
Но. Но.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Ника, вы русская?
Нет, я украинка, но живу в России. А вы откуда? Вы американец?
Да, я из Америки.
А из какого штата?
Я родился в Орегоне, но живу в Нью-Йорке.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson. Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Привет, Ника, как дела?
Нормально. Познакомься, это мой папа.
Здравствуйте, я Бен. Как поживаете? Хорошо, спасибо, Бен. Ну, удачного вам дня. Спасибо, вам тоже.
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
The first word we have is
Как?
how.
Как? Как?
And the next word,
Дела.
things, goings, affairs.
Дела. Дела.
And the next word is
Познакомься.
get to know. Let me introduce you to.
Познакомься. Познакомься.
And the next word,
Это.
this. This is it.
Это. Это.
And next,
Мой.
my, masculine.
Мой. Мой.
And the next,
Папа.
dad.
Папа. Папа.
And the next word,
Как поживаете?
how do you do?
Как поживаете? Как поживаете?
And the next word,
Хорошо.
okay, good, well, fine.
Хорошо. Хорошо.
And the next one is
Спасибо.
thank you.
Спасибо. Спасибо.
And the next word,
Удачный.
successful, lucky.
Удачный. Удачный.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Привет, Ника, как дела?
Нормально. Познакомься, это мой папа.
Здравствуйте, я Бен. Как поживаете? Хорошо, спасибо, Бен. Ну, удачного вам дня. Спасибо, вам тоже.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Okay, today's topic is 4 rules for staying motivated with language learning. You're going to learn 1. The mistake people make with motivation, 2. The 4 rules for motivation, and 3. How you can apply the 4 rules to your language learning. Do you wish you were more motivated about language learning? You watch motivational videos, you feel good for a second, but none of it sticks. This lesson may have some tips to help you. First, listen up. Here are this month's new lessons and resources. First, the 24-hour survival phrases cheat sheet. Traveling and want to learn a bit of the language? Then these survival phrases will help you with the first 24 hours. Second, the ultimate listening video master course. How good are your listening skills? Watch this free video master course to more easily understand native speakers. You can download it right now. Third, the 50 most common verbs all beginners must know. Do you know all of these verbs? If not, this lesson will drill the 50 most common verbs into your head. Just use the free audio slideshow tool inside. And fourth, 20 strategies for learning a language at home. Want to learn a language from the comfort of your own home? This 1-minute lesson gives you all the best tactics for learning languages. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. 4 rules for staying motivated with language learning. Want to know how to really stay motivated? Then listen closely to these 4 rules. These rules might be a little different from the advice that you often hear. Ready? Rule number 1, action comes first. Are you the type of person who prefers to make things happen? Or are you the type that waits for things to happen to you? One of the best ways to stay motivated with language learning is to not think about motivation. Instead, take action and start learning. The mistake that most people make is that they have this backwards. They think they should wait to feel motivated first and then start learning. But really, it's the other way around. First, you do a language lesson. You learn a basic conversation. Then you do another. And then you start feeling like you can do more and learn more. You see results. So results bring motivation. Thinking about motivation does not bring motivation. Thinking about motivation is like reading an article about how to go outside for a run instead of actually going outside for a run. So action comes first. Rule number 2, always have an outside influence. It's very easy to lose motivation if you're learning language alone. So what do? Here are some examples. You get a study buddy. You hire a tutor. You join a meetup group. You plan a trip to a country where people speak that language. Or you sign up for a proficiency test, like many language learners do. Why do this? Because now you have other people depending on you. You have outside factors that keep you going with the language. For example, if you signed up for a language proficiency test, you know you have a few months to study and you have to take the test on a certain date. Someone is going to pass or fail you. This is a lot more motivating than learning alone. If you're learning with our program, you can get your own teacher with the Premium Plus plan. They'll hold you accountable, send you homework, and give you feedback. If you have a study buddy, well, now you have someone that expects you to show up and improve. And if they're better than you, that should give you extra motivation because you want to be at their level. So get some outside influence. The next rule is rule number 3. Always have a go-to study method. When you arrive at work or the gym, or when you start your homework, you always have that one thing you do first, right? What do? For example, with work, maybe the very first thing you do is check emails. Then you check your tasks for the week. After that, you get started. Well, you need to make the same kind of habits with language learning. You need a go-to study method that you're comfortable with, an easy starting point. And this totally depends on you and your style. Choose something you enjoy. Some people listen to audio lessons. Some people like flashcards. For some people, writing is easy. You can write out song lyrics and translate them. It's up to you. The point is, you should give yourself an easy first step to get you started and get into the flow of learning. If you're learning with our program, you can start with the word of the day email or do a quick 3-minute audio lesson. You can copy out the lesson dialogue, read through the lesson notes, or even easier, just review and re-listen to a lesson you took the day before. If you have your own go-to study method, you're already miles ahead of most learners. Leave a comment and tell us about it. And finally, rule number 4, always be working on something. So here, I want you to stop and think about your friends. Do you have a friend that's always up to something? Some project? They're working on a song, or they're making videos. They finish one thing and they start another. Well, if you wonder how they stay motivated, it's because they're always working on something. And this goes back to taking action. If you're not learning or working, you can't stay motivated. So you need to apply this to language learning. How? For example, like I mentioned in part 2 about outside influence, you can make a plan to travel to a country that speaks your target language. Or you can sign up for a language proficiency test. If you do that, you'll have something to look forward to, something to do. If you're traveling, you need to learn travel phrases. If you have a proficiency test coming up, you have to study grammar and do exercises. What else can you do? If you already have a textbook or workbook, make it a goal to finish that book. If you have a learning program, make it a goal to finish it or reach a certain level. If you're using our lessons, make it a goal to finish one learning pathway. Then, when you're done, give yourself something else to do, something to stick with, something to look forward to. So, let's recap. 1. Action comes first. 2. Always have an outside influence. 3. Always have a go-to study method. And 4. Always be working on something. So, thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about how to get a return on your language learning investment. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way, and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Russian ebook before it's gone.